Good evening and welcome to Examining Power, Oppression, and Complicity, a community dialogue. And thank you for being here tonight for our fourth conversation in this series. I'm Maura Disco, the Director of Alumni Relations and Campus Ceremonies at IU South Bend. And the IU South Bend Alumni Association is proud to present this series in partnership with the Civil Rights Heritage Center and the School of Social Work at IU South Bend. As we've done in the past, we do ask that you keep your microphones muted to limit distractions during the first portion of the evening, and we will meet in breakout rooms to allow for conversation around 6:30. In the meantime, please use the chat function to ask questions or share comments. And also tonight's conversation is being live captioned, so feel free to click the CC button at the bottom of your screen to see that captioning. As we begin the program, we wish to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities native to this region and recognize that Indiana University is built on indigenous homelands and resources. We recognize the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people as past, present, and future caretakers of this land. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide, forced relocation of many from this territory, and we honor and respect the many indigenous people who are still connected to this land. Let me now introduce our speakers so we can dive into our conversation tonight. Otrude Moyo is a professor and the director of the School of Social Work at IU South Bend. Her scholarship draws from critical race theory and focuses on social development issues in Southern Africa, attending to epistemic injustices, interrogating racism, and everyday violence in human services and higher education, as well as advancing local and global efforts at decolonization. Other scholarly interests include prevention of substance use in communities of color, regeneration of indigenous experiences, intercultural awareness, environmental justice, and community engaged teaching and learning. Our guest tonight, Semaj Brown, is a thought leader, poet laureate who paradigm shifts the time-space continuum in her book, Bleeding Fire, Tap the Eternal Spring of Regenerative Light with Broadside Lotus Press, Health Collectors LLC. A poet prose memoir, part social commentary, part magical realism described as an odyssey in African-American history and culture. Miss Brown is a dramatist, science educator, playwright, a fervent deconstructionist of obsolete systems. Semaj is also an avid synthesizer, building Afro-futuristic installations, presented on multiple levels, as university guest lecturer and scholar, in elaborate theatrical poetry productions, in mind-expanding essays, and to children and families in the fantastical realm of the planted kingdom. Semaj's pedagogy is integrated, interdisciplinary, groundbreaking workshop that offers new openings to reimagine our world. Thank you for being here with us tonight and to share your work with us and inspire our dialogue. So with that, I turn it over to you, Semaj.
Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm going to be reading a poem called Mother Ocean, Making of a New Tribe. And before I begin, I will tell you there are two voices in this poem. There's the little river girl who's talking to Mother Ocean, and then Mother Ocean speaks. And it begins with the little river girl. I talked to the ocean. I asked Mother Ocean, how long after Middle Passage did it take to heal your daughters? Make them whole. How did you shape this beautiful, distinct creation? Mother Ocean answered with stilled serenity. It's been 400 years. I sculpted them from promise. They were complete in the beginning, throughout, and remain whole today. Their memory was stolen. Their memory was stolen. Could not remember gold of Benin or family compounds, Acabulon antiquity birthing science, Moorish Spain, Timbuktu, world center of trade and commerce, could not remember the military brilliance of Queen Nzinga or origins of iron-forged French Quarter, or the original tongues of Fula and Yoruba. The waves began to break. Mother Ocean continued. I fashioned each death new, molded feminine fluid into flesh, pooling ancient memories, floating in time. They were recreated from the scarring flow of centuries, formed by amniotic river that pulse their veins. They speak the language of water now. And water is spirit. And spirit remembers. I am the ocean remembering when they cannot. Water is spirit. And spirit remembers. I am the ocean spirit remembering when they cannot. My daughters came to me, Mother Ocean, as cargo in chains on death vessels that heaved frothy blood in the crest of my waves. My daughters came to me, Mother Ocean, shredding skin, decomposing wounds, father for sea monsters and new world rapists, millions and millions and millions and millions collapsed into the inconceivable lap of violating current, descended to maritime grave, asphyxiated on the horror of what was yet to suffer. But on my ocean floor, I rocked them in a crucible of seaweed and succour. I coddled them in the ebb of coral incantations. I washed them with those two aquatic lovers, hydrogen and oxygen. I cleaned and christened and purified and baptized their white bone skeletons with briny, blessed assurance. And as ocean, I followed that tide of dripping gore across myself to the shore of servitude. I never left my daughters. I persisted in all my forms, sometimes water vapor, whispering, dignity. Sometimes hailstorm, summoning the strength of Ella Baker ancestors. Again, I asked Mother Ocean, how long after Jim Crow did it take to make your daughters whole? Mother Ocean lifted. Waves rose and fell like flying blue tarpaulin. Floods surged, dredging sand and civilization into her amorphous body. She spoke. Seems like eternity, but it is just a drop. But in every drop, there exists eternity. They were always whole, even with captured memory, even with lynching, Tulsa Holocaust, execution of their godmen husbands, mass incarceration, medical apartheid, waterboarded psyche. They were always whole. My daughters, my daughters' brains are incredible, masterful, cerebral filtering systems, always filtering faith from fear, hope from horror, triumph from trauma. Get ye behind me. No weapons formed against me gonna, and I'm not giving that any energy. Filters. An amazing grace sieve where gray matter that matters lives. These daughters of ocean, of rain and drizzle, of water cycle alchemy, aqua rising from the intros of Atlantic, ascend with bubbling geyser, shooting aspirations vertical from the deep silt of sea, made fertile with the blood from their people. They are reverse waterfalls standing erect. Reverse waterfalls standing on the swirling testament of ancestors. Reverse waterfalls standing on water. Standing in boardrooms. Say her name. Standing in courtrooms. Say her name. Standing in legislatures, say her name. Standing in science, say her name. Standing in uniform, say her name. Standing asleep in her bed, Brianna, say her name. Standing in educational institutions, say her name. Standing as artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, at counters, in kitchens with blue collars and white collars, in service as waitresses and secretaries, standing in wealth and affluence, yes, and standing in poverty. Standing on her knees in poverty, on her knees praying in churches, in poverty, on her knees in mosque, praying on her knees, standing on her knees in synagogues, standing on her knees at the altars of indigenous ritual, standing with humanity, Standing up, up, standing up, up, standing up, up, standing, standing, standing in Lansing State Capitol as unlikely activists against state poisoning of 100,000 Flint residents. Mother of Eden, original prototype of opaque skin with eyes of stained glass wisdom and legacy washed hair, gravity defying hair, antenna to rainforest galaxy hair, stretching toward heaven hair, Sirius B star, quantum wave, celestial strands. I tell you, water is spirit, and spirit remembers. Water is spirit, and spirit remembers. Call it. Call it. Go ahead. Call it. Call it our ocean intuition. Call it grit. Call it Holy Ghost. Call it ancestral angel fire. Call it black girl magic. How else can you explain these hidden figures, female frequency sculpting formation with water pick chisel? How else can you explain an Oprah, Nina Simone, Mrs. Edith Spencer, Dr. Jemison, Mother James, General Harriet Tubman, Michelle Obama, and 50 fantabulous Flint women who represent named and unnamed supernova stars who have become the women of a new tribe. This new tribe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm still gathering myself. When I hear you, I still like, yeah, you speak with me, as I say, like you speak with me. When you listen to poetry, sometimes it speaks for you or it speaks along with you, but you speak with me. And I desired to have you join us so that we can have the conversation, because particularly this poem, Mother Ocean, brings the themes that we have been exploring in our 4 series right now, examining power, oppression, and complicity. So we began in September looking at, when we started the dialogue, we were experiencing mourning and outrage at the death of George Floyd and many others. This really catalyzed us to really examine violence unleashed by police on racialized bodies, of Black bodies, as a cultural spectacle of white supremacy. So the power that you have in Mother Ocean you share about power that we have in the line. They were whole. In spite of all these things, they were whole. They are whole. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you so much. When I went back to read Mother Ocean, since I was invited to do this, I wanted to know what Mother Ocean was saying. And so I make a distinction between Mother Ocean and myself, of course. So I interrogated the poem. I went back and looked at it, and I saw that there are three distinct times in the poem where the little river girl, or the other narrator, she couldn't be with us. It is really actually in performance. It's a little girl who does this asking. But she wants to know the question of how, and she represents a lot of people. So she asks this question to Mother Ocean: how did you heal your daughters? How did you make them whole? How did you fix them, in other words? And Mother Ocean, she says they were always whole. In other words, the way I understand it is that they don't need fixing, they don't need healing. They're perfect as they were. In the very beginning, she says they were complete in the beginning, throughout, and they remain whole today. So so I kept reading. And so my understanding from it is that Mother Ocean is saying that this idea that someone you live with or you love, they punch you in the face and then you go get anger therapy is a problem. So it's not that the people who are being oppressed need to be fixed. They are fine. They are whole. How do they heal? They heal by not being oppressed, by not being punched. That's how they heal. And there's another section in there when she actually explains this. She talks about regenerative energy. She doesn't say that in the poem, but that's the way I'm looking at it. Talks about regenerative energy. She says, how my daughter's brains are incredible. They're masterful. But what do? They're able to disassociate. So sometimes, well, many times, oppressed people, whether it's a development of how they deal with oppression and persist, is that they're able to compartmentalize it and continue on. If my ancestors weren't able to compartmentalize, I would not be sitting here. So this type of disassociation, whether modern psychology I don't know, they may say it's not healthy or not, but it is our survival. And so instead of looking at it like it's some kind of distortion, it is our lifeblood to be able to separate and continue. She says they're able to filter. It's a sieve that takes place. And maybe all people don't have that, but it's an adaptation after hundreds of years of oppression that must be passed down in the family. I probably got it from my mother and she got it from her mother. And so it's passed down. So from Mother Ocean's perspective, we're perfect. We're just fine as we are. We're completely whole. And the oppressors are the ones who are fractured and only part of humanity that is not developed. So I hope.
Yeah, exactly. So I see that too in Mother Ocean, that our own consciousnesses to the injustices, to the fracturing, to all the oppressors' things, our consciousnesses to these injustices is the propeller for us to realize our transformative power or our transformation in our own journeys. And we saw this in our own conversations with George and Gerald in their journeys to become where they are. So in that transformative power with the intrapersonal self, like affirming, so that we are seeing the regenerated people that you highlight in Mother Ocean. So we are also are regenerating in our interpersonal relations. So we are affirming each other in differently. So we are also confronting the cultural unraveling oppressions in our cultural things that we inherit, but also in the institutions that we work. So in Mother Ocean, water is spirit.
Yes.
Spirit remembers.
Yes. Yes. Water is spirit and spirit remembers. That is Mother Ocean, when she says that, it's a reference to what is it, the women or their memory was stolen.
Mhm.
So the memory of themselves, their memory of who they are, what they were, who they could be, was stolen. And instead it was replaced with a false narrative about themselves
Mhm.
that over generations they've come to accept. So Mother Ocean says, but water is spirit. They came from the water, they came from the spirit. And since humans are 75% water and the earth is 75% water, it transcends even the landmass that they came from. We're talking about spirit. And so these daughters of ocean, even though they don't have a cognitive memory, there is the memory still exists inside of them. It's a matter of tapping into it, understanding it, and really understanding that the narrative that has been given to them is a false narrative, completely, absolutely, 100% false. They're none of anything that they've been told they are. And water is spirit and spirit remembers. So spirit is with them always. And
spirit is with them always, as they are creators, as they are protectors, as they are nurturing.
yes.
And
Yes.
spirit is with them always. But for me, it also means that that spirit is the one that propels us not only to survive, but to really thrive, as you
Yes.
later on show with the women who are thriving.
That's right. It's the innovative. So in that part where it says female frequency sculpting formation with water pick chisel. So we're talking about a certain energy, we're talking about a certain frequency, we're talking about a certain spirit that is able to regenerate. In one of my poems for one of my some of my younger readers, it says, I'm like a hydra, cut off my head. I'll grow it again in 2 seconds, I said. So it's that type of regenerative energy and spirit that cannot be destroyed. It cannot. There's an ancient story, and it goes something like this. It was against the law to say that I am the truth, because that was only meant for the highest deity, for God. So this person was saying I am the truth because they felt like God was in them. So they hunted him down and they killed him and they chopped him up and they threw him in the river. And then the blood, as it came out, it formed the words, I am still the truth. And so I think that's what Mother Ocean is saying, even though we've lynching and everything and on, it's just this type of oppression is relentless. We still persist and create, because this is what I was explaining to one of my students. We are whole. Would oppressors, just think of it logically, would oppressors come to people to oppress that are not whole? They try to take everything from you. They go to the best. They go to what is whole. They don't go to what's broken.
Yeah.
So
you actually bring this out in Mother Ocean in the beginning, the forgetting of Timbuktu as as a place of scholarly excellence, the forgetting of language, all of these things which are whole but have been made invisible.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
And so when yeah.
Go ahead, Semaj.
No, please go, because I'm
No,
learning.
I just
I
like,
know it's my point, but I'm still learning.
no, I was just like, because we have to, this was our opening, so we have to go to breakout rooms at 6:30. Yeah. So what would you say, like, as we go out in the breakout rooms, what should we say about Mother Ocean? How is it reminding us about power, the power that we have?
So Mother Ocean asserts another kind. We know about the power of corruption. We know about power and oppression, but Mother Ocean puts another power up beside that, because corrupt places, corrupt governments, oppressive governments, we know historically, they always crumble. They don't persist. But we persist. And Mother Ocean, I think, sets aside and gives us, actually, when I read it, it gives us direction in terms of not understanding the number one, identity is so important. Understanding the memory was stolen. So whatever we've been given as what we're supposed to be, whether it's the society, the structure of the society, or whether it's identity in terms of cultural identity, it's absolutely fake. It's not real. It's been contrived to support a system of oppression. So when you can start erasing that and feel, oh, okay, well then what is identity? What do I want my identity to be as I start to create new worlds and new spaces? That's the question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we can move on to the breakout rooms and then we'll regroup afterwards.